Hello, welcome to this Automation Engine overview. In this short video, we'll show you how Automation Engine can reduce errors and increase throughput by using extensive automation capabilities. Automation Engine allows you to organize your production orders in jobs, represented by these blue folders. The information contained in the job setup can be entered manually or from an external system, for example through an MIS integration. The data you see in this job setup can further be used automatically in the workflow, containing information about customer, inks, parameters, barcodes, and step and repeat. Automation Engine also has extensive workflow editing and monitoring tools. Let us show you how we can generate a workflow in Automation Engine. Here you see our canvas without at the right hand side the different tasks that we can work with. I can select the task, for instance pre-flight, and add it to my workflow canvas. After pre-flighting, I could normalize, and in case there would be a pre-flight error, I could actually add an action which would notify an operator that there's a pre-flight error for this file, and he could actually check that or fix that pre-flight error before continuing into the workflow with the normalization. After normalization, we could trap the file and at the same time also generate, let's say, a report like this. If I want to change parameters for each of the steps in the workflow, I simply need to double click each one of those and basically change the parameters. Let us now show you how I can actually use a workflow within Automation Engine. I can select a file in my job, for instance this label, select my workflow and launch the file into my workflow. This will actually make the workflow go into monitoring mode, where you see how the file goes through the pre-flight process. After the pre-flight process, our file goes to the normalization step, which will actually make the file print ready. Then we go both into optimizing and cleaning and into generating a report card, right? While that is happening, let us check what has been going on with this pre-flight warning that we see over here. If I click on my file and open my details, you'll see that the details for my job actually tell me that I have a report available over here. And you see that my warnings include the fact that transparent objects have been found and a spot color was used as well. Now obviously for this job we're not going to worry about these warnings. So I'll close the details. In the meantime, notice how my file already has been trapped. And now going through the PDF, my file is also being prepared for the viewer, right? And at the same time, I'm also generating that report. All these steps basically happen in parallel in the workflow. Once my file has been finished previewing, I can then actually use my viewer in order to check out the one-up for my file before we go to the tabular step and repeat process. You see at the top that in the meantime the exporting of the trapped file to PDF is now finalizing. The report has been generated as well and is now exporting also to PDF. In the meantime, we can already check how the report looks like. We see how we have the user intervention needed for our viewing. So I'll go to my to-do list And my to-do list basically informs me that I have to view the file prior to executing my step and repeat. So I go into the viewer which is directly connected to my automation engine, and here I can basically check out my different separations, or I could zoom in detail, and if I zoom into detail, you basically notice how indeed that my file has been trapped, as you can see over here. So I'm happy with the file, and basically from the user interface I can tell the file to go straight to the step and repeat. In the meantime, we can also check out our report, and the report basically has, or report maker basically has used the template to actually make a report card containing our label, which we just viewed, together with all the information that comes from the job setup, from parameters, due date, the actual sizes of the file. And on my second page, you also see how I have my different separations of my file defined as well. My step and repeat is in the meantime also finalized, and the step and repeat is a simple 3x3 of the label that has been generated, as you can see over here. So you notice how in a couple of minutes, fully automatically, we have pre-flighted our file, normalized it and made it print ready, created the trapping on the file, exported the trap file to PDF, prepared the file for viewing, had operator intervention through the viewer to check out the file before going into the automated step and repeat, and we also generated a report file as well. This shows you how we can do extensive automation with the automation engine. Thank you for your attention.